time left over. I'm hoping we don't. Hoping you guys are discussing this the whole time. We'll do a little bit more about paragraphs and arguments, things like that. If I could have you pulled up the screen. Is my thing on? And can somebody get the lights, please? There you go. There we go. All right, and I'm sorry you guys will have to turn around and crick your neck a little bit here. Hopefully you don't crick your neck like Peyton Farquhar. Oh no!
Oh no, you didn't.
I did. Today's word of the day is cacophony. Cacophony. It's a noun. It's a harsh or discordant sound. Synonym, dissonance. For a second definition, specifically harshness in the sound of words or phrases. So, who can think of where you might hear a cacophony? Cacophony. Go ahead.
There was a cacophony in the cafeteria when everyone was cheering.
You used alliteration there too, I like that. Yeah, when everyone's cheering, like if you hear a crowd or a bunch of people cheering, a bunch of different voices, you can't necessarily, you don't necessarily pick out those specific sounds. It's more of a cacophony of sounds. But then that second way that it's used, harshness in the sound of words or phrases. So maybe in the way that people speak, they might have a harshness to their words, and maybe both the actual pronunciation, but then the words that they choose. Now there's a particular language that I think of actually when I think of a language that might be cacophonous. Anybody think of that language? That's a little bit harsh. German. Good. You guys are all on board. Who has a German last name in here? My last name's Schneiderman, so you can't really get much more German than that. That's for sure. Schweiner. Oh yeah, I'm feeling you. Yeah, that's a harsh language. It has a harshness to it. So you might describe the German language as cacophonous. Now, that's a good example. Also, an example from the last hour actually was think of a 5th grade band concert. That's sometimes a cacophony sound. You never know, exactly if they're playing the right parts or what's going on. It's kind of fun sometimes actually for about 5 minutes. Who can tell me what album cover this is?
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. What year did it come out?
Very important.
It was. 67. Absolutely. The Summer of Love. June 1st, 1967, it was released in Britain. It kicked off the famous Summer of Love. And it is still considered one of the best albums of all time. I love it too. But there's a Beatles cacophony on this. Does anybody know what song there might be a cacophony on with this album? This would be some serious Beatles trivia. I'd be really impressed if somebody knew this. All right, let's just go to it. I'll show you where the cacophony in this song is. But also, if you're talking about somebody's manner of speaking, a harshness, I also want you to pay attention to the way John Lennon sings. Because he has kind of that forward way of singing. And he spits out his words a bit right at you. That's a little bit of a cacophony in speech. Like, there's a line that goes, somebody needs to know that I'm glad that I'm here. You know, that's a cacophony of sound, but here's where the real cacophony is in this song. And the cool thing about this video is the author of this video has provided us with pictures before you hear the sounds. So there's a rooster. Bird. Dogs, cats. Lots of different noises together, right? That's a lion. Beatles cacophony for you.
There you go.
Anybody know what song comes next on that album? Huh? No. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band Reprise comes next, actually. Starts out with a really cool drum beat and a count in by Paul.
Let's listen to it.
I'd love to listen to it, but alas and alack, we have so much more to do. So that's cacophony. Somebody hit the lights for me, please. Thank you. All right, so everyone pull out an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Where do you guys want me to sit? Should I sit in the middle?
Yeah.
Are you sure? You don't hate sitting in the middle.
No, be one.
I want to be one of you, but there's no seats for
Right by
me.
John.
Make it your own seat. That's what you do.
Take someone else's seat.
I'll sit behind you here. Okay. So this is student-led discussion. So who wants to start? Oh, you know what though? Let's start with this. I always ask when we do discussion, since this is our first time discussing this particular piece, somebody please volunteer and give us a plot summary. Less than a minute. Plot summary, less than a minute. Brave souls. I don't want to have to call on somebody.
Oh, he's got it. I don't know his name. He's got it.
Sweet.
Alright, so it begins with describing sort of the Owl Creek Bridge and just what's around the Owl Creek Bridge. And it goes to talk about Patrons Farquhar and this is the day before. Then it goes on to the hanging end. The rope breaks, he swims away while getting shot at, escapes, gets to his family, but then just all of a sudden dies. The entire time he was actually dead, swinging from the bridge. He was just imagining it while he was still alive.
All right, guys, go to it. I saw a hand over here, Ashley. Start her off.
No, he said it. The first thing when he said he was dead, it was just like, that was what he saw when he was falling, like the brief second where your life flashes